dollars. There was skeptics caused the pain and the feeling of his teeth. Yeah, the tension, there was shortness when a room full of doubters heard it speak. Well, those long days in laboratories, they got lonely, but were worth it since the toaster learned to breathe. Progress takes practice. Patience is a virtue not many have.
Welcome to another episode of The Naturopathic Perspective. My name is Andrew Allshouse. I'm your host, and I'm here with Chris Williamson, my co-host. And we're here with Dr. Molly Linton to talk about her 5-point plan to good health. And this is a call-in show, so you can call in live, It's 206-421-5004 if you have any questions about Dr. Linton's plan or naturopathic medicine in general. Dr. Molly Linton practices here in Seattle, and she's been in practice for many years. How long have you been in practice?
24 years.
24 years. So we'll be talking about the 5-point health plan. What is the 5-point health plan?
It has the 5 components. The first component is water.
Okay.
So most people are dehydrated. A 5% reduction in hydration results in a 25% reduction in energy.
So when we say dehydrated, how am I going to know I'm dehydrated?
I'll tell you. So it's a combination of it's a mathematical formulation.
Oh.
Okay. So what?
I need a notepad.
Yeah, no,
to
it's
see
not.
how
It's not that
dehydrated I am.
complicated. So first thing, the general public thinks they need to drink 8 glasses of water a day. Okay, that would drown you. You're a small woman.
I'm drinking 8 glasses a day.
Well, we'll talk about that because so it's based on your size, your lifestyle choices, and special circumstances in your life. So first thing, it's 1/3 of your body weight in fluid ounces a day. So if someone weighs 150 pounds, it's 50 ounces of water a day.
Got it.
Okay?
Okay.
So that's one. Number 2 is 8 ounces for every vice. So if you
So you might need.
So if you drink coffee, have sugar, drink alcohol, you need to antidote those choices that you've made in your lifestyle because those are diuretics and are harmful to the body. And the third component is 8 ounces for every hour of exercise. Now that may even be low if someone's really sweating. Okay. The special circumstances of if people are nursing or on medication or those types of things. But generally speaking, that's the equation.
So it's essentially 1/3 of your body weight in ounces, plus 8, plus 8, plus 8, plus 8, plus 8.
For what you choose to do. If you don't drink coffee, you don't need to drink the water with it.
Okay.
The caveat to that is if you drink water and you're evacuating it, that means peeing it off, within the first hour, you're not hydrating anyway. Then I add electrolytes, but we can talk about
Or if
that
you're a
later.
very sweaty person, because people sweat more, don't they? Some people sweat more
Well,
than others.
people like women who are in menopause probably need a little more water because they're losing water. Mm-hmm. Okay, but people who sweat a lot when they're not exercising are dehydrated.
Yeah.
And if they hydrate, they won't sweat as much.
Huh.
Okay, and people should be peeing 6 to 8 times in a day.
Yes.
So if they're peeing more than that, that's probably because they're not absorbing it. And if they're peeing less than that, they're constipated.
And does the color of your urine indicate anything?
Well, it does and it doesn't. People who take lots of B vitamins, their urine's going to be day-glow orange anyway. So, yeah, it should be amber, if you're not taking lots of vitamins.
So if it's very clear, you're drowning?
You're probably a little overhydrated or
Right.
not getting enough B vitamins in your diet.
Okay.
Okay, so, you can't judge. So it's better to go with 1/3 of your body weight and 8 ounces for every vice.
Okay.
And that's the first thing I challenge people with.
So this is the first of the 5 points.
Yeah, it's more important than anything else. These are in order of importance.
So can you be overhydrated?
Yeah.
What would be the problem with being overhydrated apart from peeing?
Because your mineral balance will be knocked off.
Right, so you're washing things out of your body.
Okay. It's rare.
Yes.
People are mostly dehydrated. I can tell you 90% of you are dehydrated. I asked this question in naturopathic classes, and I can tell you only 30% of them are hydrated enough.
Wow.
Okay, so then I spend my time teaching people how to get hydrated, how to stick cases of water in their car, how to include water, and it's water and herbal tea. It does not count. Juice is dehydrating, coffee is dehydrating, milk is dehydrating. I'm talking water and herbal tea.
And that's it.
That's it. And it's not green tea.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
Okay, I mean, green tea is helpful in other reasons, but it's not hydrating, it's a diuretic as well. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is diet. I started with number two being protein, and I've actually moved it to protein and vegetables, so we'll talk about that. But number two, I'd rather have you eating good food than taking supplements, which is the last thing we'll talk about. So people don't, women, well, everybody needs to start with 10 to 15 grams of protein in the morning. Okay, that's the size of the palm of your hand, a half an inch thick. Okay, so an egg is 9 grams, just to give you an idea.
And how many do you want? 15?
10 to 15 grams in the morning, within an hour of waking up. Okay? And most people don't start their day that way. They start their day with a stimulant, you know, the coffee and donut aspect, but they need the protein.
So oatmeal's not really doing it with milk?
No, oatmeal's not doing it with milk. If you're putting oatmeal in milk, oatmeal's a great food, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But if you're putting milk on it, you're probably getting 4 to 5 grams. So how you bolster that is you either put a handful of nuts in.
Yes.
I mean, muesli, really does work. Or I have my clients go to Trader Joe's and buy the Trader Joe's soy protein powder and stick it in the oatmeal. My kids get pancakes with oatmeal powder in it. They get, with protein powder in it, right.
What is the significance of getting the protein in the morning?
Because see, I wish I had a chart. The word doctor means to teach. So it's a principle of naturopathic medicine. Anyway, our cortisol levels or adrenaline or the thing that gets up and go is at its height from 4 a.m. to 10 a.m. Okay?
This is our hormone that helps us deal with stress.
Hormone that just makes you even go.
Okay.
So a good adrenal gland, so here's a good caveat. A good adrenal gland wakes up between 6 and 8 a.m. in the morning without an alarm, alert, ready to go, and hungry.
Yeah.
The problem with our culture is our adrenal glands are wiped out and people wake up not hungry. Okay, so they don't eat the protein because they're not hungry. But
because they've had a late night meal?
it has nothing to do with that.
Oh.
It has to do with if your stomach acids, if your adrenal glands are not functioning well.
Where are my adrenal glands?
They're right here,
Okay.
behind, on top of your kidneys.
Right.
And of course,
Right here.
no, they're back here.
Okay.
Good question. Anyway, so the significance is that you're starting your car with the right fuel.
Right.
That's the significance. So that's why I have to start the day with protein. The reason I've been pushing vegetables is because everybody's vegetable deficient. Everybody should have 3 cups of vegetables a day. And that's where you get your minerals and your vitamins. You can get everything from a vegetable, you can't get it from a fruit.
And how are you with microwaving?
I have no issue, however you get it down.
Oh, right.
I mean, I'm not, let's start with step 1.
Yeah.
Vegetables. Now, if you want me to pick the vegetables, I mean, I'm really a proponent of dark green leafy vegetables, and they should be organic because those, for lots of different reasons. If you're going to spend your money on organics, it should be on your vegetables,
Right.
because they pull stuff in and they have the minerals, and you don't
Not
want.
so much fruit then, more vegetables.
People should have 3 cups of vegetables a day. So that's number 2.
So point 2 is 15 grams of protein
10
in the
to
morning.
15 grams of protein in the morning with some
and
3 cups
servings
of vegetables.
vegetables
And
throughout the day?
that
Or
protein-
just in the
Throughout the
morning?
days. Throughout the days.
That protein powder, sorry to interrupt you, Andy,
Uh-huh.
from dare I say it, Trader Joe's, does it taste horrible? Does
No, it tastes good. That's why I tell that
Right,
one.
so people will actually
It's a Trader
like it.
Joe's vanilla soy.
Vanilla soy.
Yeah. So if you're not allergic to soy.
Will any protein powder do, though?
Yeah, any protein powder will do, but I have a tendency to go for the ones that taste good if people are trying to change their lifestyle. I know that one tastes good. The ones I have at my office, some taste good, but they're also high-end, expensive for specific health issues, and I send people out of my office not buying mine. See, wait. So what do we talk about? I'd laugh. I said I wouldn't get paged.
So we have the 15 grams of protein in the morning, 3 servings of vegetables.
That's
throughout
number
the day.
2.
Number 2.
Number 3 and 4, I interchange them, but I'll tell you what I think because of order and importance. But I'll tell you what I think number 3 is. Number 3 is sleep. And number 4 is exercise, and I'll tell you why I interchange them. People who don't sleep don't exercise, and people who don't exercise don't sleep. But Americans are sleep deprived.
Yes.
Okay, a good night's sleep, so here's the definition, is you fall asleep within 20 minutes of lying down and sleep uninterrupted for 7 to 8 hours. Okay? All right, so people don't sleep, so I divide those 2 categories. I divide sleep into 3 categories. The ability to go to sleep, the ability to stay asleep, and the choice to actually sleep. A lot of Americans don't choose to sleep. I mean, they could sleep, but they get up too early, they stay up too late, And so therefore they're not getting their 2 REM cycles. So you need 2 3 to 4 hour REM cycles in order to rest your adrenal glands.
Right. So you do need those 7 to 8 hours.
Yes, uninterrupted. Okay, so trouble going to sleep is an anxiety issue.
Okay.
Okay, and that's a little more complicated than I'm not willing to do on a public television program because it's a little more complicated. But the best reaction for that is exercise.
Yeah.
Number 2, which is a simple thing to do, is hypoglycemia. If somebody is not sleeping through the night, most of the time they're hypoglycemic.
What is hypoglycemia?
It means their sugar levels are too low and they're waking up. Because if your sugar levels go down, your body wakes up in order not to have you go into a coma. Not that it's that serious, but it says I'm not getting enough sugar, so it wakes you up so that you will kick your adrenal glands into functioning, into burning off your sugar stores. So,
do I need a bar of chocolate by my bed just in
no,
case?
it's not that kind of sugar. That kind of sugar is a stimulant. That refined sugar will make your sugar levels go up for 20 minutes. You'll feel great, and then you'll crash.
Just a glimmer of hope there I had, a glimmer. I was thinking, it was so good.
There are other reasons for dark chocolate.
My favorite.
That's a whole nother topic.
So what do you do if you do?
Well, I tell
find
people
yourself?
the reason why most people are hypoglycemic in the middle of the night is because most people don't eat breakfast and they eat their largest meal at dinner. So they're shifting your entire day to saying this is the time to wake up.
Yeah.
So you need to anchor your morning with your heavier proteins, and right before bed you need to take a little protein, like within 15 minutes before bed. So what do I mean by a little protein? A tablespoon of yogurt, an inch of a burrito, a handful of nuts, a rice cake with peanut butter, you know. So
Dark chocolate?
no, that's not protein. So let's define protein. Maybe that's a simple thing. Protein is one of the following 3 things. An animal product, anything that comes from an animal, except butter is not a protein. And I got this from a 6th grade boy. Jell-O is not a protein. Number 2 is any bean. So any bean. So garbanzo beans, soybeans, hummus, all that kind of stuff. And any nut or seed. All right, so someone needs a little protein and not a whole bunch so they don't get epigastric reflux and they don't get heartburn, and to take their calcium magnesium at night, which we'll talk about later. But all of you who are not sleeping through the night, if you eat a little protein tonight and take some calcium magnesium, you will sleep through the night starting tonight. So that's number 3.
Wow, there's a promise.
Yeah, it works.
Okay.
It's very simple, no harm, totally good medical care over the phone. And if you sleep through the night, you'll feel better the next day.
I will do this tonight.
Okay, the number 4 is exercise. Okay, so we should be exercising an hour a day.
Yeah.
This 3 to 4 times a week is a bunch of hooey. Okay, this body is an organ that
And
needs
can
to.
we break this up? Can I do
Well,
half an hour in the morning, half an hour in the
Yeah,
afternoon?
actually, statistics are now showing that women do better with 2 20 to 30 minute exercises twice a day. But I'd rather have you exercise. I'd rather have you do 15 minutes a day than 3 hours on the weekend.
Yes. I
Okay.
understand that.
And I'd rather have you. Timing is important too. I'd rather have you exercise than not exercise, but I'd rather have you do it before 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay.
For the same reason that you're supposed to be alert in the morning and resting at night. So that's exercise. And
Well, is the intensity of exercise important? Can you just walk for an hour?
yeah, you can walk for an hour.
Okay.
You know,
Move your body.
Personally, I find that 2 things. I can have caffeine within half an hour going to bed, and I can exercise within half an hour going to bed, and it doesn't affect me. Does that make me rare, or is that quite normal? Because I really do find that it doesn't affect me. I mean, I do that. I mean, I bounce on a mini trampoline and find that very helpful, and I can do that at 9:30 at night and go to bed at 10:30, and it's fine.
Okay. Okay.
But surely that's better than nothing.
Yeah, I'd rather have you have your caffeine and bounce on the exercise cycle than
At 9 o'clock
not.
in the morning.
Right. But it is a rare thing, most people drinking caffeine. But if you're drinking caffeine and are not interfering with your sleep, you have other physiological issues that are going on.
Ooh,
So that's why I laughed. That's why I laughed. Okay, I just put it
off air.
over there. So that's sleep. Oh, this one.
It's getting warm in here now. That's another issue.
The cortisol. You're high strung. I'm sure you have lots of energy.
I do.
So it's like you're, it's like throwing, I mean, it doesn't matter. You're just going full speed ahead anyway. So putting on some exercise and caffeine just says, there you go, you're off again. Okay.
Yes.
All Right.
Sorry.
We should, what happens with a lot of Americans around sleep in particular is that our melatonin levels, which is the hormone that tells us to go to sleep, is at its peak between 9 and 11 o'clock at night. Okay? So I challenge all of you, I want you to know this, that at some point between 9 and 11 o'clock at night, you're going to notice a dip in your
Yeah.
energy.
Yeah.
Okay? That's when you need to go to bed. What a lot of Americans do is they do this, and then they do this, and they get a fright and flight response, and then they say they have a second wind, which keeps them up for 2 more hours. That's not appropriate.
Right.
Okay, we're supposed to keep our fright and flight response to stomp on the brakes so we don't hit the cat that runs out in the car, not be stressed out in a fright and flight response for 10 years.
So a nap early in the evening, not good.
No, not at all.
No.
If you're tired okay, let me finish the 5-point health
Yes,
plan.
sorry,
I'll get back
we
to that.
digressed.
No, I'll get back to that question
Okay.
because it's important, because early in the evening is a thyroid function issue, not an adrenal function issue.
Okay.
Okay, we can review the first four points
Right.
then.
So water, protein and vegetables, sleep, exercise.
And I wanted to let the audience know that they can call in at 206-421-5004 if you have any questions about Dr. Linton's 5-point healthcare plan or anything about natural medicine in general.
So the exercise regime.
Right.
Good exercise has 3 components to it, but do I care? That's like phase 2. Do I care? Just move your body for an hour.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the 3 components are flexibility, strength, and aerobics. It's all those things. Women have a tendency to do the flexibility and aerobics. We don't do the strength, so we lose lean body mass. Men have a tendency to do the strength and the aerobics, but aren't flexible.
Yeah.
So you're only as young as your spine is supple. You know, that's
Right.
an old terminology. And the 5th one is a good supplement regime. So I think everybody in our culture should be on a good multiple, and it determines whether it's, I determine whether there's with or without iron depending on anemic status, whether someone is iron deficient. Iron is not something you want to do routinely. You want to make sure that you need it.
Do most
Right.
multivitamins have iron in it?
Well, most multiple vitamins now do have iron in them, but you can find in a good Saddle Super Supplements, the Co-op, Whole Foods, you can find vitamins that don't have iron in them.
Okay.
Cycling women, young women often need iron because of their menstrual cycles, but you know. Number 2 is everybody needs to be on omega-3 oils. So omega-3 oils are your fish oils, your flaxseed oil, your borage oil, your hemp oil. When I first started practice, people knew the difference between, we were talking about polyunsaturated and saturated fatty
Yeah.
acids, and no one had ever heard of an omega-3 oil.
Mhm.
So now people know what omega-3 oils
Yeah.
are, but we need them. And the quality of the oil is really important, especially if you do fish oils. Okay, you can't just buy Costco's oils. They're full of chemicals, okay?
No.
Right. It needs to be a brand that's reputable and doesn't have heavy metals in it, especially when it comes to fish oils, okay? So
And are we better taking the teaspoon and getting that down?
you
Or-
can do
or
it that
is
way,
the
but you can do it in capsules.
Because
It's-
capsule's fine, isn't it?
Capsules are fine. Our grandmothers were right, though. Cod liver oil was great. That's a
Best.
great thing. So everybody needs omega-3 oil. So you either need to have 3 to 6 ounces of fish a day, okay, or 1 to 3 grams of omega-3 oils. Okay, so there's a multiple omega-3 oils. Everybody needs calcium, magnesium. Everybody needs it, men
Right.
and women. And then the 4th thing that I keep playing with, so those are my 3 things, because economics, I'm always thinking about people's pocketbooks. But I'm wondering if everybody needs to be on a probiotic or an acidophilus, because our intestinal tracts are kind of, the compost pile is not working real well.
And is Activia enough for that, or do we actually need a supplement?
If you eat fermented foods, you probably don't need the acidophilus.
What classifies as a fermented food?
Kimchi, miso, kefir, sauerkraut.
Stuff you can readily get in McDonald's. Not.
You know, you can eat well at McDonald's now. I mean, you know, they've got
Oh,
the salads. You know, I mean, you could, it's always a matter of choice.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's like,
But these things that you said to me, they're not very familiar to me, and I don't know how familiar they will be.
yeah,
to the audience.
they're usually, they're not American. I mean, most
Me neither.
cultures, yeah, they're other cultures. It's the melting pot of America.
Right.
We just took everybody's desserts.
Yes.
We didn't take the rest of the. So, I don't know. I think that most people need acidophilus or probiotics, and that acidophilus milk doesn't count. But a good yogurt, there we
Yes.
go. A good quality yogurt. And you can tell a good quality yogurt because if you leave it out on the counter for an hour, it develops a clear fluid on top.
Yes, it does.
That's a live bacteria. So
Oh.
it's not Dannon and Yoplait. I'm telling you that those
Oh,
are dead yogurts. They don't have any cultures in them. So like Cascade, Mountain High, Nancy's, those are good quality yogurts.
because the Activia, is that not Danone? Is that Danone?
Danone.
Activia? Because I mean that's what its trade is. It says that's what it is. It's the
I know,
live
but I've
cultures.
cultured those.
Oh. Oh.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, I've put them on a petri dish and seen if they actually grow the lactobacillus, just like the lactobacillus milk.
Right.
They may have put lactobacillus in there, but it's not an environment that it can live in easily. So.
Oh. So probably
But yogurt is good. Fermented foods, tofu is a fermented food, but it doesn't have as much probiotics or bacteria in it as miso does, or tempeh, or, the Japanese culture has the fermented foods down.
It's good food too.
And what does the bacteria do for you? What is the benefit to taking bacteria?
It really is your compost pile in your large intestine. So it allows you to break down further your fibers and absorb your water, and it's what breaks down stuff in your gut. So.
And you had said that we should be on a multivitamin and a CalMag as well.
CalMag, yeah.
Do multivitamins not contain CalMag?
Calcium, magnesium is in multivitamins, but in order to get enough calcium, you'd have to take 8 of them a day. So I always give it in a separate.
How much calcium are you recommending?
That's another good question. Well, the reason why I'm smiling is because it depends on the type and whether it's, for instance, oyster cell calcium is non-absorbable. Why would you ever, that's not, it's a waste of your money because it's rock.
Right.
And you can't digest it. So a good quality calcium, well, generally speaking, it's 800 to 1,200 milligrams of calcium a day.
So there are some calciums you don't absorb?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So is it good to take the little chocolate chew?
No, because those are also just calcium. You also want to find a calcium magnesium.
It's got to be the two together.
Right.
And I'm
the
taking that just before bedtime.
Right. And the calcium magnesium over the counter is usually done in a 2-to-1 ratio. And the reason it's done that way is because if you do it 1-to-1, which is actually nutritionally more sound, the magnesium usually causes people to have diarrhea. So the supplement companies don't want you to avoid their calcium because you get loose stools.
Right.
But, if you go to a reputable vitamin store and ask them, they can advise you on what your calcium should be done. I prefer capsules to pressed tablets because they're usually more digestible with a system that's a little more weak. Because if you don't have good stomach acids, you can't usually break apart those hard horse pill tablets.
And is this going to help people that really do have bad, I'm going back to the yogurts here, sorry, I've just backtracked, the bad digestive systems, because everyone seems to be on these terrible antacid things these days. Is this going to help these people who...
No.
It's not?
The reason it's not is because most people who are on Prilosec and those types of suppressive stomach acid things have a dairy allergy.
Oh, is that what it is?
Well, it's more than that, but... And I think Prilosec is one of the worst things out there, so I'll tell you why. Because if you suppress someone's stomach acids, they can't properly digest their protein, fats, and minerals. I guarantee you within 2 years they're going to be hypertensive, high blood pressure because they're not getting their minerals, and they're not getting their oils, and then they're on hypertensive medications. It makes no sense whatsoever to be on antacids.
Right.
Okay? If you're on antacids, you should see your local naturopath because you don't need to be on antacids.
Right.
There's other options. You're not having stomach acid problems from lack of Prilosec.
Right.
Okay? You're not depressed from lack of Prozac. It doesn't grow on a pill, and you don't have on a tree, you don't have a Prozac deficiency. So the basic premise of naturopathic medicine is maybe we use those medications, but you still need to ask why the situation.
Yeah, and that's why we're here, isn't it? To show that perspective.
So that's my 5-point health.
So you use the 5-point health plan on everybody who comes in?
Right.
No matter what the problem
because
is.
why would I give you a pill if you're not hydrated? Why spend the money? You need to start with water. People pay me $250 an hour telling them to drink water. Free deal.
Saved you $250.
Really. People are hydrated.
But sorry, I was going to say, but I'm left in a bit of a quandary now, because I mean, I have been having my 8 glasses at least of water a day. And yes, I do have 1 cup of coffee a day, grande. And
So that's 2.
So that's like 2.
Okay.
But
you don't have one at night, like you were saying?
Not often. I mean, I do, but the reason I do sometimes is because it simply doesn't affect me. I mean, if I'm out socially and there's coffee in the area, I won't say no to it. A lot of people say I can't possibly have coffee after noon, and I've never understood that mentality, because it doesn't ever seem to have affected me like that, which, bully for me. But the idea of washing away vitamins isn't something that I like the sound of. And of course, I think a lot of people are told, drink more, you can never drink enough. So it's interesting to hear you say you actually can have too much and drown.
Right, so when you drink water, do you have to go to the bathroom within the hour, or is it an hour later than an hour?
It's probably around about an hour.
Okay, because people who drink water that go right to the bathroom,
Yeah.
it's not soaking in.
All right, well,
That's
we're
another problem.
just about out of time,
Oh,
guys.
sorry, we're talking.
So I wanted to give you an opportunity to give our audience a place where they can get more information about your clinic.
Okay.
Or
So my clinic name is Emerald City Clinic. You can also find me on emeraldcityclinic.com. It's easy. And my phone number is 206-781-2206. There are 3 of us in my practice. There are 3 doctors there, and we also run a low-income clinic for those who can't afford naturopathic care. So you just need to be eligible for that. You don't have to bring lots of paperwork, but we ask you a few questions, and if you're eligible, we have a low-income clinic as well.
great. Thank you very much for coming on.
You're welcome.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
Chris.
Molly.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thanks, Andy.
Thank you. Thanks for watching, and tune in next week. We have another live show with a different doctor every week on the Naturopathic Perspective, Tuesdays at 6:30. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Bye.
Mama, for presentation was upon her. He was nervous as can be in the silence of his colleagues. And the skeptics caused the pain and the failing of his teeth. Yeah, the tension, it was shorter when a room full of doubters heard it speak.